Hello, movie friends. Welcome back to the show. Anthony here.
And James here. Let's talk about movie news. Lots to go over this past week. First of all, our most recent episodes were on Valentine's Day. We did a romance movies episode. It was very sweet, very fun. And then we did the Batman preview episode on Thursday, which was just leading up to the movie, everything we know about the film, what we're excited about, hyping it up a little more, some theories and stuff like that, breaking down trailers. And then I did a little review on Dark Season 2, the German television show on Netflix, which I love so much. Season 3 is coming soon. Box office this week. So Uncharted was released this weekend, and on Friday it clocked in at 15 million domestic. And
very good.
Projected to be about 50 million domestic for the weekend, 4-day weekend. It's a holiday, I believe. And it's already at $36 million global on Saturday, so that's going to probably pull 150 easily, I'm sure, globally, 200.
That's better than I thought.
Yeah, so that would probably get a sequel, I'm sure. Dog came in at $5 million on Friday, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. That's the Channing Tatum
movie.
Yeah. Jackass Forever is up to $53 million global, which is nuts. Death on the Nile is only at $41 million global. Marry Me's at $22 million global. And Spider-Man No Way Home is still making close to $10 million every week and weekend, and it's up to $1.8 billion. And I think it's almost at beating Avatar for
beat Avatar.
Beat Avatar for highest domestic grossing film of all time in America. Wow, insane.
Yeah. And I believe it's still in the top 5 of box office.
Still making fucking $9 million a week. That's crazy.
I know people that saw it 5 times.
It's crazy. I saw it 2 times, 3 times.
You saw it twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
In IMAX.
Speaking of Marvel, I'm sure everybody saw the brand new Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, which dropped on the Super Bowl. Looks like a wild ride. Looks like we're going into darker territory. Sam Raimi had took the reins over this franchise, and it looks like a lot of fun. Also, some great teases of a possible Patrick Stewart cameo, as well as a lot of speculation about Tom Cruise appearing as a variant Iron Man.
It seems like the first part's 100% true, and I think this is obviously we've been all predicting the MCU X-Men crossover ever since Disney bought 20th Century Fox. This has been their plan to connect everything and put them all together, which is really freaking cool, in my opinion. It's going to be badass if we have X-Men versus, or mutants, whatever they're going to call them, versus Avengers. That would be pretty epic and cool. It's really, I love how Sam Raimi's doing it, so I hope it's going to be, like they said at first, they were going to tease it's going to be a horror movie, but then they've backtracked that because maybe they're worried about box office performance.
Disney doesn't do horror.
Yeah, so it's going to be horror-esque in a way, but it's not going to be a straight-up horror genre film. But it's going to be epic. It's going to be cool. Can't wait to see it coming out in May. Next up, we have Stranger Things Season 4. Finally got some release dates, so they're going to do 2 volumes. Volume 1 is going to be released on May 27th, and then Volume 2 will be released on July 1st. They also released 4 posters, which are pretty cool.
I also read that all of the episodes are going to be longer than any other previous episodes. They're going to be like little movies, each one of them. So they should be like a lot of content in terms of hours for this season.
Hopefully. And it seems like they're just ramping up production elements all around, so it's going to be probably pretty epic.
Next up, we have news about the sequel to Dune, Dune Part 2. It will begin filming this summer, says director Denis Villeneuve, which is crazy because it's so amazing that it's going to be coming out again so quickly after the first film. They have the script written. They have the locations complete, and pre-production is underway right now. And so they'll actually start principal photography all over the world in the summer.
Well, I'm sure that they did all the concept art already and storyboarding because, they knew they were going to do it. I think they were just trying to be like, oh, we might do it if you guys go see it. But I think they were planning to do it anyways. Like Hans Zimmer's probably still been working on the score. And I'm sure Patrice Vermette and his team have been building the concept art and everything. And
costuming.
There is concept art of like Fremen Sieges that you can find online, which I'm sure they're going to use for the film, which I can't wait to check out. So in terms of it being a quick turnaround, it's because I think they are already in pre-production.
And it's
secretly.
not like the costume designer had to invent still shoots again because they're already created.
So obviously the new stuff we'll be seeing is all the new Fremen culture stuff, the Sieges. We'll be able to see. We'll be finding out who the Emperor is. They'll be casting that.
More Harkonnen stuff.
Princess Irulan and more of like the Guild Empire socialite stuff like that. So we'll be getting more of that world. So I can't freaking wait.
It's gonna be awesome.
But yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Paul Thomas Anderson gave an interview, and he revealed that he has a secret Letterboxd account And he also says that he has secret accounts all over the place, so he's always keeping an eye on the social media.
He's like the Kevin Durant of film world.
Except he doesn't take everything personally.
Yeah, he doesn't have, he's secret accounts, not burner accounts.
Yeah, he doesn't get offended by everything.
And he's also a big fan of Raiders of the Lost podcast.
We love you, Paul.
There's a new teaser trailer for The Contractor, which is starring Chris Pine on the run from shadowy forces, which really, it looks really cool. It's like a sort of a Bourne-esque military film on domestic land in America, where he thinks he's working secret ops for the federal government, for the president, but really he's being run by a corporation, and it's about him getting revenge basically on what they've done to him.
I'm all for this. I love just like hard-nosed action thrillers. This looks like it's right up our alley, and it's great to see Chris Pine doing like a badass action movie. He hasn't done that yet.
He kind of has.
Hell or High Water isn't really an action movie, I would say.
That's a western.
But he hasn't played like the action hero.
Movie.
And
Yeah,
Captain Kirk isn't like an action hero. It's like a bigger
leader.
movie.
He's a leader.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to see
Like
that.
with like a machine gun. Like I'm an ops guy.
And okay, so the film Coda that came out last year, it was released on Apple. I was totally right about how they should have released it in theaters because Apple is re-releasing Coda in theaters for 3 days for free. So you can go to any theater playing Coda from February 25th to 27th, and you can watch Coda for free. You don't have to pay anything. Just walk in the theater, get your ticket there, and then you just see the film. Because I said Coda going to streaming was a big mistake, especially because Apple doesn't have the biggest platform. Not that many people are watching it, and very few people saw the film. It got nominated for Best Picture because of screeners sent to the Academy members. But if this film had come out in theaters, it would have become a sensation, a cultural phenomenon, very much like Parasite and like Slumdog Millionaire. Independent films, they can get huge from word of mouth, from the social consciousness if it does well at the box office in theaters. But it went to Apple. Only a small number of people even saw the film, so I called that.
It's a damn shame because I think it's a really important movie. You know, it was the best movie I've seen in years, you know, shedding light on the deaf community and non-hearing community. And I think that if they had a theatrical run, that would have opened up more possibilities for future films to be made like this with characters like this.
It would have made $100 million.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. I think a lot of people would have gone to see it. It's unfortunate because, like we said, it was the best film we saw at Sundance last year. But you were right, bro.
I was right.
John Williams, J-Dubs, is going to compose the Obi-Wan Kenobi theme for the show, not the entire score, just the theme. He did similar things like with Solo. He did the theme for Solo in the Han Solo movie.
It has to be him to do the theme. I'm trying to think, does Obi-Wan have a theme in the other movies? I can't think of.
Well, kind of like, I guess.
I can't think of like an Obi-Wan theme from the films.
He'll probably just make one up.
So yeah, I'm sure he'll make something completely original that we
it's
haven't
not like
seen
Han
before.
had his own theme. He kind of made one up for Han Solo, and it ended up being very Han Solo-esque.
Exactly.
And it's J-Dubs, and he's just a genius.
The Dubs.
The Dubs guy.
Benedict Cumberbatch is doing some press for Power of the Dog, and he recently revealed that he's actually feeling conflicted about starring in MCU movies because he reveals that it's like questioning, am I working with Goliath that's killing David in terms of big budget studio movies that are killing independent films, because he does do like a fair amount of independent work, and you know he's a theater actor as well. And I mean, I think from my point of view, it's like somebody's gonna have the role, so it doesn't really matter that you're doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would say if you really feel that way, that Benedict, you could stop doing them after a couple of years.
I don't think
completely.
But it seems like maybe he didn't realize that
How
seemed
big
like
it would be.
He didn't. That, and also he probably didn't realize that Doctor Strange would be like one of the biggest parts of the MCU.
Yeah,
going down the line, because like when he signed up, maybe he's like, oh yeah, I'll do like 6 movies, it'll be fun. Then it's like, oh, you're like the biggest face in the. It's like you and Scarlet Witch are like the stars of the MCU now, so you're like the new Iron Man in a way.
But also when he signed on, it wasn't that there weren't these conversations about the
cinema dying, independent cinema dying in theaters.
Because when he signed on, it was like, what, 6 or 7 years ago now.
I think it's probably his movies that aren't in the MCU are just performing really bad, just like most MCU actors.
Yeah,
their movies aren't doing well at all outside of theaters, outside of the MCU. And I mean, we don't know what the world's going to look like in terms of the theaters and cinema in 10, 15 years, but I think we are starting to see the signs that if it's not a franchise or big budget.
But also the Coda Apple news is also a sign that theaters are important.
Yeah, true. Because why are they doing it in theaters?
Because they want people to see it.
Yeah. Exactly. Chris Hemsworth is reportedly playing the Furiosa villain in the Mad Max prequel, which sounds really awesome. I would love to see Hemsworth do a villain. Has he done a big baddie before?
In the what's it called?
Oh, the
Cabin in the Woods one.
No,
the
motel,
the
motel
director.
one.
Yeah, that director.
The motel.
His film.
Yeah, the hotel. Whatever.
Something. Blah blah blah.
Not
Yeah.
that good of a movie. I
It's
was
not-
disappointed
yeah.
by that movie.
I was.
If you liked it, I know a lot of people did enjoy it, but I think I was disappointed.
I was like, why are people loving this movie? But that's just my opinion. So yeah, I can't wait to see him in George Miller's world as a villain. Hopefully, he's just like a raving lunatic. That'll be
Let's
fun.
go. Let's get that gasoline.
I
live, I die, I live again.
Valhalla. Dune 2 news again. So Denis Villeneuve also revealed that because he strayed away from the Harkonnen culture and characters in the first film to focus mainly on the Atreides and the Fremen, he's going to really hone in on the Harkonnen world in the sequel so that people can get a better sense for the Harkonnens. He felt that it was better to save them, really, and tease them in the first film because you get Rabba and the Baron for like maybe 10 minutes of screen time in total. So it's going to be very heavily Harkonnens in Dune 2.
In the book, we spent a lot of time with the Harkonnens. Now, I understand why he did that. It makes sense because, you're introducing everybody to this world. But the Harkonnen storyline, there's a lot that we're going to discover in part 2 if you haven't read the books. And we'll have a new main Harkonnen character in part 2 who's going to be like a great villain. So I'm excited for that, to see who they cast.
Knife fight.
Let's go. You can go.
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, wait, no, I'll go. You just
it's
went.
your turn.
The new trailer for Elvis was just released. Baz Luhrmann's rockin' biopic starring Austin Butler in the titular character role of Elvis. This movie is going to span 20 years across the life and career of this iconic musician.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Baz Luhrmann seems like a perfect director for this. Austin Butler, you saw him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was one of the killers. He was the guy, Tex.
Nah, you dumber than that.
Dumber than that.
Tex. I'm the devil.
So that's who's playing Elvis. And
That's a good pick.
Yeah, it's his first lead role, so we'll see.
It looks really good.
Yeah. Next up, first images revealed that Chris Pratt, his brand new show, The Terminal List, which is a Navy SEAL Prime Video series on Amazon. So clearly Amazon is getting on the Chris Pratt train, buying the Tomorrow War, putting the sequel of that into production, and then producing his new TV series. So it looks like a lot of fun. They've only released an image, so I'm sure a trailer will be dropping very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Chris Pratt holding a gun, you sign me up. I'll watch it.
And this will be his second role basically as a Navy SEAL, right?
As a Navy SEAL, because in Zero Dark 30.
That's SEALs.
The SEALs?
SEAL
SEALs team.
Yeah,
SEALs team. I'm not sure. They don't say in Tomorrow War. I think it was just Special Ops.
You can assume he's some sort of SEAL team or maybe a Ranger or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So sign me up. I think Chris Pratt pulls off the Navy SEAL really well, that awesome character. And next we have A Quiet Place 3 release is set for 2025, and there will be a spinoff coming up before that in 2023. And so we can expect an entire franchise of films out of this now.
Yeah, and I'm sure Paramount is trying to milk that franchise for everything they have. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a TV series
Just
for
holding
Paramount
the
Plus.
sponge, and their mouths are under the sponge, just like, give us
They're
that
really
money.
successful movies for
Yeah,
low
they
budgets.
really are.
Even the second one doesn't have that big of a budget.
I hope they don't make the mistake and go big budget to think they need to.
They better not.
I think keep it small, keep the scope slowly building.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, Paul Dano has been doing press for the Batman, and he said that he actually had trouble sleeping after playing certain scenes with the Riddler. He says that some of the scenes are so intense that it just kept him up at nights, and it's hard to leave that character behind. He's not a method actor, but you can understand like doing something that intense. You're just still on edge for the rest of the night. Even like I used to work in restaurants, and I would get home at 1 a.m. and still be like flustered, so I can imagine.
I'm assuming there's maybe some torturing scenes or something like that, kidnapping scenes that were probably very intense, and getting out of the headspace was probably difficult. And also Paul Dano is revealed came up with the idea of the Riddler being completely engulfed in a sort of plastic suit or a suit to prevent, if he was a serial killer, the Riddler would want no DNA possibly escaping from his body. So like that's why he's completely wrapped up.
You can tell because the mask that he wears is only a front covering mask, and his skull and back of his head are exposed, and his head is all wrapped in plastic. If you look at it closely, it kind of looks like
underneath the mask.
Yeah, it looks like he could be a burn victim, but if you look closely, it's his hair underneath plastic.
Also, it was revealed to us. We talked about the mask in the Batman preview episode, and we were saying how interesting and creepy it looks. And it's actually the Riddler's mask is a U.S. Army cold weather mask from the 1970s and 80s.
Very cool.
So
great detail.
And I think that ties into the fact that maybe people are predicting he's some sort of cryptographer from the military in the past or something like that, which would be really interesting.
Makes sense.
Super cool. Next up, we have the Hustle trailer. There's been a bunch of photos of Adam Sandler on the internet of like balling with like NBA stars. So he's uniting with NBA stars in a Netflix basketball movie. It's going to star, besides Sandler's NBA stars like Trae Young, Anthony Edwards, and several others in this upcoming film.
Looks like a lot of fun, and Sandler's playing it serious too, so it's like it reminds me of He Got Game.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
looks awesome.
Star Trek 4 has been announced and is in pre-production by Paramount. J.J. Abrams will be producing, not directing, and Chris Pine and the original cast are in talks to return to the film. The last two have been a little iffy. The first one was great, I think, so hopefully they can capture the magic of the first one, and so that should be coming out within a couple of years.
I think they just make it like an old school Star Trek movie. Like keep it like grounded.
Yeah.
Great dialogue. Let's little less action, more nuanced situations rather than everyone just like throwing fists the whole time.
Yeah, and blowing shit
That's
up the whole time.
Like it's cool, but like the old Star Trek movies and show are so great because they sold so many things with great dialogue, and great nuanced situations and character arcs rather than I'm mad at you. Like Spock would never like fight somebody like he does all the time. Anyways, I'm moving on.
But also the first two, they didn't even spend that much time on other planets.
Yeah.
It was just the opening of the
fighting
first,
in the ship all the
Yeah,
time.
it was always in space in the ship, so they haven't traveled to many places.
They did later on. Anyways, Michael Giacchino released the Catwoman theme, which is epic. So he's already released the Batman theme, the Riddler theme, and now we got the Catwoman theme. And all I'm saying is this guy, his confidence is through the roof right now. What I said to Anthony is like, this guy's got some cojones because he created a jazz theme for a superhero character in a superhero movie. I think that is so ballsy and cool. And it sounds great.
So I don't think it's right to call Batman and Catwoman superheroes. I'd say comic book characters.
Well, Batman's a superhero.
They don't have superpowers, though.
But he's a hero, and he's super.
He's a hero.
He's super wealthy.
He's a super guy.
Batman, all right, Batman's is a superhero. Catwoman's an anti-hero.
Yeah, I like
Those
an
are the
anti-hero.
descriptions.
She's an anti-hero, yeah.
Batman's 100% a superhero. I will fight you on that. I will strangle you with this microphone cord.
Jake Gyllenhaal has been doing press recently, and he revealed that Tobey Maguire changed his acting process. When they worked on Brothers, Tobey Maguire went full method and extremely intense and completely committed to his role.
Do you have any idea how much I love you? You know what I done?
And while working with Tobey, Jake Gyllenhaal was very impressed and intrigued by his process and emulated this process of acting into his the last 10 or 12 years of his own acting. So you can see
what was the process?
Method acting.
Oh, okay, method
and
acting.
Intensity. Great in changing
Just
your
diving
body
into the character.
because Jake never really looked that much different from movie to movie before like 5 or 6 years, like 7 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
And then with movies like Nightcrawler, he's like, I'm changing everything about myself for a role. Same thing with like the last several of his movies have been like that.
That's a really cool thing. Cool
It is a
tidbit.
cool thing.
I like that. That was a lot of fun to hear. Excellent anecdote. All right, Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
They're not gone. They're back.
Is the first of a planned trilogy. Planes, automobiles, and let us have Transformers trains by the end of the decade. There's going to be so many more Transformers movies.
You thought they were done. You were wrong.
We're not just getting one. We're getting 3. They make a lot of money.
They make a bill.
So
Easy bill.
If you like them, get excited. There's going to be a lot more.
Matt Reeves revealed while doing press for the Batman that he would be interested in doing Mr. Freeze as a villain in a potential sequel, saying that a grounded version of that story could be really powerful and really great.
That'd be pretty cool.
And he would definitely hire Schwarzenegger again.
It's going to be a freeze. Final bit of news is Moon Knight and Oscar Isaac.
Are you reading this for the first time?
I am reading for the first time. It calls the Disney Plus series the first Marvel character study since Iron Man, which I'm pretty intrigued by.
Yeah, well, I love Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. And the fact that they signed on to it, I'm like, okay, I will give it a shot.
But I feel like First Avenger is a character study.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, he started like we learned so much, but he's like nothing before. You know, he comes from nothing.
But the thing with Captain America is he doesn't transform as a character. He's still the same man as he was in the opening. But Iron Man, we've talked about this. He goes through a complete transformation from start to finish.
True, but the character study doesn't always have to be about a massive character transformation internally or existentially.
I disagree.
He transforms the most out of everyone. He gets jacked in like a minute.
All you care about are muscles.
No, I didn't. That's not all I care about.
You look how excited you got. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying it's a
he
big.
got jacked.
I didn't say it like that.
Yeah, you did.
Like that sounds like
We
I'm
have it on
drooling.
footage.
All right, I can't wait to play it back later and call you a liar. Disinformation over here. I'm just saying he went through a huge transformation where he went from like 85 pounds and like 4'11" to 6'2", 265.
I'm aware.
Big transformation. Like dude's 265. He's
190.
No, he looks 265 on camera.
Yeah.
You know, in person he's like you. Just kidding. Anyways, that's it for movie news number. Was 36?
37.
37. I think you got it right. Nice. Proud of you.
Hey, that's offensive. No need for that.
Get ready for some awesome episodes this week. Tomorrow, we're gonna what?
I thought you forgot what it was.
No, I know what it is.
Yeah.
I did it. I edited it. It's gonna be
Is
a
it
great
done
one.
yet?
I'm working on the clips now. I'm gonna make it's gonna be a great week.
It's gonna be a good episode.
I don't know what.
Tune in tomorrow.
It's gonna be
a
fun.
surprise.
Anyways, moving on.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Find us on all audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to check out one of these other videos right here for more content on our favorite films and breaking down all kinds of movie content. Thanks so much.